Good day. My name is Brian Smith, and I'm with Full Sail University, and I'm going for my mobile gaming master's there. I'm going to take you through a game that I've been working on called Treasure Hunter, and in its use of the accelerometer to be able to determine if you're actually shaking the device. So I'm going to take you through the code involved with that. So with that, let me share my screen, please, to the desktop. And there we go. So here I've got a main activity and I got the base surface, which is redrawn every time something changes in the game. But in the base surface, in the onCreate method, which is, well, it's called when the main activity is created, I do some initialization for the sensors and for the accelerometer. So basically, I'm calling out or identifying in the context this sensor service, and then mapping it into a sensor manager. So that's what I'm calling a sensor manager. And then making sure that this is of type accelerometer, that it's not null, so that there is an accelerometer on this device. And then I get that accelerometer information. And then I set some Booleans to make sure that, yes, this is all true, and I can make use of the accelerometer in this game. So it's kind of the initialization of the accelerometer. Pretty simple, pretty basic. And then the actual use is then it's an override, and basically it's on sensor change. So as the sensor changes, the accelerometer changes, both or all in the X, Y, or Z location, then we'll get these events. And with these events, I break them up, or I get the acceleration in the X, and then in the Y, and then in the Z location, and basically then keep track of the difference between the last acceleration event for the X, Y, and Z location and the current one, and then get it's basically the delta. So I could take the absolute value of that, and that's the differential, and then get the average of all three of those, and then that will give me kind of a quantity of how much the device was shook. So if the average of all the three dimensions of the shake is greater than some threshold that I set, and I had to, I basically just did the, in this log line, I was kind of taking a look at all the different accelerations and the averages that were being produced, and kind of looked at it to say, oh, anything 10 or greater looks to be enough of a shake event, and then we'll say that, now the device has been shooken rather than just stirred, as it were. So that's just an arbitrary value that I set there. And then I do set a timer to make sure that there is some time passes between the last event and the up and coming event. So the goal there, so that you don't, as a part of the shaking of it, of course, there's time involved in going back and forth. And I wanted that to be just a single shake event rather than a series of shake events. So I was very careful with that. So if both of these conditions are true, then we will say, okay, it has been shaken, the device has been shaken. And as part of the game, then, this treasure hunter game, I make sure that the GPS is working, so that my location, the current location of where the device is at this time, making sure that that is not equal to null. And as long as it's not equal to null, that I have this shake event. And I call over to the base, or let me just finish with this. Then I keep track of when that last shake event happened, so that for the next time through, I will be able to measure then the amount of time that's been since the last time there was a shake event. And then I keep track of the last X and Y and Z for the acceleration event, so that when I go through here the second time, and then I set this false, that this is not the first acceleration event. So I go through that, I always be able to calculate the delta here. So pretty simple logic then. In fact, that's basically it for the accelerometer. So now I have done the math to be able to determine that we've got a shake event, and I call then over to the surface, and there is the shake event. And I basically just say, given that there's a shake event, I take my location, and which is the current location of where I am now. And this is constantly being updated in the background as part of the GPS side of the treasure hunter game. And then I convert this where am I, converts it. It's a fun kind of mathematical exercise, but basically it converts it into a screen location, an X and Y location. And then I dig a hole at that X and Y location every time. So you're walking around your backyard, that's the GPS is always being updated. And then when you shake the device, we know where you are because of the GPS, and we dig a hole on the field at that point. And then everything else in the game takes over after that, about whether you found treasure or not. If you found treasure, add it into the treasure list. All those kinds of things takes care. So that's really basically it for the accelerometer. Pretty simple to actually get that up and running. And if you have any questions or comments, let me know. So I'm going to stop sharing, and thank you very much for listening. Have a great day.